All right, today I'm going to share with you two crucial relationship ruiners. Number one, lack of communication. Number two, unmet expectations. All right, so these two things are the reasons why most relationships fail. When you get into a relationship or you're starting something new with somebody, oftentimes you have this story in your head of what it's going to be like or what it's supposed to be like, and you have these expectations, or like men are supposed to act this way, females are supposed to act this way, whatever it is. You have this story in your head. Oh, it's going to work out, this person's going to be perfect, the person God has for me is going to not have any problems, or whatever it is. Okay, so you're coming in oftentimes with these expectations that the other person doesn't even know you have, because it takes time to communicate what's in my head with the other person and vice versa. Okay, so unmet expectations, and I've seen this happen in relationships in my personal life, but also others. One person expects X, Y, and Z and then never communicates it. So these two go together: unmet expectations plus lack of communication. Okay, when I have these expectations, and I definitely need to communicate them. Okay, so you need to communicate them, because sometimes you've been watching like stuff on YouTube or social media or movies about what you think the relationship is going to be like, or maybe some relationship advice, and like Prince Charming's gonna act like this. He's gonna have a YouTube channel with a Blink 182 picture in the background, and maybe some Legos and books and a black V-neck. Who knows what you're expecting, but you need to be able to communicate that effectively. So what I wanted to do was just bring these to your attention, because if you want to have better relationships, the more we can be aware of the things that would ruin our relationship, the better we can walk into a relationship equipped for success. And this is not just romantic relationships. This is any kind of relationship. You could say this is a parent-child relationship. You could talk about a coworker relationship. Unmet expectations. Hey, you were supposed to get that project done by Friday. And lack of communication. You didn't tell me it was due on Friday. All right. So how can we combat this? Okay, first we need to just really get grounded with who we are and what we want. Okay, and just straight lay it out in the beginning. Okay, I'm looking for a partner who's like my best friend, and we, travel a lot together, or whatever it is. Okay, so how do we fix this? What do you want? I want you to just think. The goal for me is to encourage you to just think. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to educate you on how things work, and then let you decide what you're going to do with the information. That's what my goal is. I like to help you become the best version of yourself in relationships. All right? So if you know that unmet expectations are going to ruin a relationship, what are those expectations you have? And maybe let's just get those out on some paper. Okay, maybe it's, hey, I just want a partner that respects me. Maybe it's I want a partner who's like a traditional wife. Maybe it's, I want a partner that we build a business together. What is that expectation that you have? Maybe I need X amount of attention. Maybe I actually on the other hand prefer a partner who's more hands-off, and we don't need to communicate all the time. Maybe I need someone who needs to text me every day. Maybe I want to text them once a month. Personally, I'm more in like the once a month or once every 2 weeks kind of basket. I prefer less communication. I prefer less often communication, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't really want to text somebody all day, every day, text them good morning, good night. I don't want to do any of that shit. It's just not me. There are other people that I know, really close friends of mine, that do like that. And so let's just think about that, okay? So how much communication do I want? So what are these expectations? Maybe I only need to hang out with you like once a month, okay? in the early phases of dating or whatever it is, okay? So let's just go into our mind and think about what are some expectations? What do I want, okay? And you also got to understand that some of your expectations are going to be unrealistic. Okay, I want a guy who's 6'5" and makes 300,000, who plays in the NBA and drives a Ferrari and lives in a mansion, and also is single with no kids, as well. So when we have certain expectations that are like way too high, that's not going to help us get into relationships. We have to be realistic with our goals. I use the cars example, like you're shopping for cars. All right, so my budget is X amount. These are the cars that I can afford with my budget. What features do I like? Is just a really good analogy that I like. Do I want all-wheel drive? Do I want a manual transmission? What would I like? So if I can just get real with my expectations. Okay, well, I don't, let's just look at it this way. Well, I can't expect to be, if I'm sitting here saying, you know what, I'm only dating models who are in the top 10% of Instagram influencers. Is that realistic? Females, I'm only dating a doctor who's single. Okay, is that realistic? Probably not. We have to really play the field. So, what are our expectations? The best way to define and determine your expectations is who's like in your life presently that you can actually interact with. So if we talk about like you could use a dating app, I guess, but just to get some realistic expectations, how many people are in your like direct circle that you could potentially build a connection with and date? So that's kind of the way I would think about your expectations. Okay, well, man, I'd love to have an NFL cheerleader, but I don't have any of those in my circle. So I guess that would be an unrealistic expectation. So let's just get real about that. Okay, we need to get real about that, and then communicate. Okay, well, once I've got my realistic list of things that are important to me, non-negotiables, you could even do like A, B, and C. Non-negotiables, preferred but not necessary, and and then like a third category of, man, I'd like this to also be the case, but it doesn't really matter if they don't have those things. Really, the simpler the list, the better. We don't want to be making it's not Build-A-Bitch, okay? Bella Porch, I think. This ain't Build-A-Bitch. You don't get to pick and choose. So just think about that. Same thing for you females watching this. This is not Ken Barbie doll either. We got to choose realistically, all right? And then just being able to communicate that. Like, so on the first date, sometimes people are thinking like, oh, I gotta act a certain way. Why don't you just be straight up? Look, here's the deal. I'm here to fuck. No, I'm just kidding. Just be straight up and communicate what you're looking for. Like, hey, what I'm looking for is long-term relationship. I'm looking to build a life with somebody. I'm looking to build a business or a brand together on the internet or whatever it is. And just be straight up with what it is. We don't need to like pretend to be something else. Like, you don't even need to sell yourself. It's like you're sorting. Okay, look, here's what I expect. I want this, this, and this in a relationship. I offer this, this, and that. I mean, it's as simple as that. But also, there's the attraction side to it. So you got to be playful and have some fun and flirtation as well. But just the quicker you can be your genuine self, the quicker you can set the proper expectations about what you want and be authentic with that and be okay with them rejecting you because that's not a good fit, the better and faster you're gonna find somebody that's more aligned with your values. So being able to communicate it effectively and quickly. Okay, so first we need to identify what we want by setting a realistic expectation list, and then be able to communicate, this is the things that the complementary traits I'm looking for in a partner. Okay, and just be okay with communicating that. So that's kind of my my thoughts on those two things. That's what I would do. And I think that this video would help you a lot. Hit the like button if it did. Share it with a friend if this was something to think about. And have a wonderful day.